Welcome to Happy Hour Holidaze, the podcast where we toast to entrepreneurship, business, and life stories. I'm your host every week, Manny Fresh, my co-host Sean Febre, and today in studio, we got business owner Diego Gomez. He has Sandritas. Oh, man, the best sandwiches. I mean, the sandwiches, that fucking one with the medianoche bread with the cream cheese and the turkey. Man, that shit.
What's that one called?
Yelena Ruth.
Oh my God, that shit was so good. He's also a realtor and he also day trades. So the guy is in everything to make money. Ultimate hustler. We're so happy to have you on the podcast, Diego.
Thank you for having me, guys.
What's the deal?
What's going on?
Well, what got you into it, man? Because how old are you, Diego?
I'm 33. I'll be 34 in May.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
How old are
great.
you guys?
I'm 34.
36.
He's 36.
Oh, works.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're all around right there.
We're all the same age.
What's good, fam?
And we're all Latinos.
Now I know what generation I'm working with. I don't know what kind of podcast. You guys are on the younger side. I got to tame myself a little bit.
No, so Diego, tell us a little bit, about your background, how everything started. I know you started early, man, with the hustle. At like 15 is where the story really picks up and it starts into who you become today, an ultimate entrepreneur that just likes to fucking hustle and make money.
Oh, man. Yeah, I started young, man. I started, I guess you can't really call it legit because I started working in nightclubs in Miami. I'm from Miami. Born and raised.
Calle Ocho.
Yeah, I'm specifically from Hialeah. So,
okay.
Fango y Factoria. But yeah, so I started, I had to hustle early, man. Didn't have a pops around, to provide or anything like that. And at one point, it was just me and my mom. I have a little brother too. I have 3 little brothers actually. But at the time, he wasn't with us. But yeah, I had to hustle, man. My mom was doing the best she could. And an opportunity arose for me to start promoting in the nightclub industry at first. Actually, at 14, initially, my freshman year of high school.
How were you promoting?
We were promoting. So the way I got into it was I had this buddy at the time, Johnny. He was promoting these all-age parties at these nightclubs that everybody knew. It was like Club Space.
I know. I've been to that one.
You feel me? So these popular nightclubs, what they would do is on a day that there was no school, on a weekday, so it was like a holiday or something, promoters, companies would take over, would contract these clubs out and throw an all-age party, to which they would promote to the high school and stuff like that. Excuse me. That
salsa get you,
that White Claw's creeping. So he was promoting this party. I forgot where it was, but it was some nightclub. And I just asked him because he was my buddy. And he was like, "Yo, can you get me for free?" He was like, "You sell 10 tickets, I can for sure get you in for free." I ended up selling 100 tickets.
Oh.
So the owner of the company, which was Fantasy Entertainment at the time, he asked my buddy Johnny to speak to me, and we met. His name's Oscar, and he basically brought me under his wing. He's 5 years my senior, so when I was 14, he was 19 already. But so I just started promoting these all age parties for him, and it paid well. They paid like $5 to $10 each ticket I sold.
Oh wow!
So you're looking at some all age parties, we would be selling like 1,000, 1,500 tickets, stuff like that. And then for the whole party, we'd have like 4,000 people show up. It was
$10 a ticket at 1,000. That's $10K.
Yeah. At that young age, that's what was crazy.
That was just you just selling that, or was that your team?
No, that was just me.
That was just you?
That was just me. Yeah, that was just me. I joined the football team, so I was getting somewhat popular and whatnot. This was my freshman year, but then after a few parties, Oscar, I will always remember the night he was dropping me back off from the party because he would always pick me up because I was a kid, and I remember him asking me, "Oh, are you a man?" I mean, I'm like, I'm not gonna say no, even though I'm a jit, but I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm a man. And at that time, like I said, I didn't have a pops. My mom was doing the best she could. She was working, but I had a lot of freedom at that age. I had too much freedom, and my mom would agree. But I would tell him, yeah, I'm a man. It's like, so you telling me you can leave your house whenever you want? It's like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, all right. He had this big concert/club party that he was going to start promoting, and he needed help going out to all these nightclubs in the dead of the night to go pass out flyers and stuff like that. So like, all right, I'm going to pick you up whatever day at 2 a.m, we're gonna go to this club and pass out flyers and stuff like that.
2 a.m?
Yeah, 2 a.m.
Shit.
Oh, Miami, you don't start getting ready to go out until like 11 midnight. Like you don't really, you don't. Yeah.
I mean, when we were Jits, that's when I think we were like, pre-gaming at the house, at like 11 or 12
years old.
Not 14, not 14.
I hadn't really started drinking yet either, but I was already starting to get exposed to that nightlife industry and whatnot.
I thought Oscar was gonna be like, you a man? Take a bump.
Nah. By the grace of God, man, he ended up being a somewhat of a decent person that I was able to look up to in that season. Oscar, in that season. So he picked me up when we did the thing, we promoted and whatnot, and then he just kind of just took me under his wing from there on. We just kind of became like kind of this like a big brother little brother type thing, and he started gaining. He opened up a new company that was not just for all ages but for adult nightclub parties, called New Image Management Group. And
so was he the owner of the existing one?
He was the owner of the existing company, Fantasy Entertainment, that just focused on like all ages and some 18 and over parties. Yeah. But then he opened up another company that was geared more towards the higher end, more older crowd and whatnot. So, and with that company, he started locking down a lot of contracts. And one of the main contracts was Nocturnal Nightclub. Nocturnal Nightclub in the time was the Club Space's like biggest competitor. Literally, because they were literally next door neighbors. They both had after hours, like they both. You could party 24 hours there. Like it was a crazy time in the nightclub industry.
Were they in Tampa too? Nocturnal?
No,
it was just Miami. Purely?
It's just Miami.
You're thinking about something.
And this is also before like these big conglomerates took over Miami nightclub scene. Like before the David Grutmans and like this is before that. This is when promoters ran the nightclub scene. If you had a good amount of people that would follow you to a party, you had pull in the nightclub industry. It's not like how it is now. Like you literally have to know top dogs only in order to even get into a club. It's a little different from how it used to be. But he nailed that contract for Saturday nights, which is Club Space's best night. So he took on the competition to for that Saturday night, and it was a 2-year run. So we did it for 2 years. When we first started, I remember I think it was the first month. All he had me do, this was a 21 and over party. Right. I'm now 15. Okay. So I'm a little older now. I'm a little older now.
Still can't drive.
I'm a little older now. I'm 15, but I'm on the verge of turning 16. But it was about like a month or two. He had me working at the nightclub, but just like going to the corner of the street because if you guys been to Space, that street, 11th Street, downtown, that's where all you have like the 24-hour cabaret across the street, Gold Rush, or now it's 11, and then a bunch of it used to be a bunch of nightclubs on that strip as well. So it'd just be people walking around everywhere. So he would have me pass out these free VIP bands and free skip the line bands, whatever, just to people, just to get them into the party.
Mainly to women, right?
Yeah. Mainly to women, but it was really to like anybody, just trying to get people into the door. Yeah. Because he had a phenomenal deal. He had 100% of the door. So any money that came in through the door was his, and he had 35% of the bar.
Wow, what? Yeah. Bro, he had a fucking deal, man.
Bro, you don't just wait, man.
He was paying Diego 1%.
No, but 35% of the bar. So let's say Club Space is open 24, right?
Well, this is Nocturnal.
It depends. This is Nocturnal. No, but we were competing on their bar sales. Yeah. So Club Space and Nocturnal. I mean, now it's different. Club Space has gone through like 4 different ownerships since I've been in the industry. Yeah. But back then it was Louis Puig who was the founder of Space. Shout out Louis Puig. He kind of created the industry in Miami.
That name sounds familiar.
It should. He's also a DJ, a very, very good DJ. I don't even know if he's doing it anymore, but and then the owner of Nocturnal was just, I mean, there's no way to say he's a dirtbag. This dirtbag Russian named Glenn. Just a terrible person all around. But anywho, so he had 35% of the bar, 100% of the door. And full management and full he would basically any labor, like any position he managed. security, bartenders. He staffed them, so he had complete control over staffing. Is what it was as well. So it was a solid deal.
Bartenders too.
Yeah, bartenders and all. Yeah, they would employ them. They would pay them. Nocturnal, the club would pay them, but he was the one staffing. He picked and chose who he wanted and where he wanted them and whatnot. So I was doing that at 15 for a few months, passing out bands and whatnot.
How much money were you making doing that?
At that time, I was making. I mean, I was only working. I was only passing out things for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and he'd pay me $200-$300.
Oh, something
solid for fucking 15 years old.
Amazing. And then after that, he'd bring me into the club, and I'd just hang out with him and party. Like
Go ahead, have a beer. Finally,
this kid in there, but no one questions him because
he was the boss. Promoter.
He's the boss. He's the main guy. And then it got to the point where he wanted to start easing back from being there all the time. He also had started having other contracts like Friday nights at Tantra and just different nights, different clubs and whatnot. He wanted to step away from Nocturnal, and he wanted someone he can trust because it was a cash drop, large cash drops throughout the night, and just checking the bar tab, the bar scene, the bar receipts and all that. He needed someone he can trust, and he looked to me. So by this time I was already 16. He had me shadow him for 3 months.
How'd you meet him?
I met him just through happenstance. Like, my buddy was promoting for one of his all-age parties, and I did so good, he asked to meet me.
Oh, yeah,
that's just how it happened. But, so I kind of just shadowed him for 3 months, seeing what he did, how he directed, what clientele to wear, because we have VIP clienteles. I mean, he at this, it didn't take long. It probably took maybe like 4 months for this party to get going, for Space to be like kind of upset that we took away from their scene. And then we started booking crazy talent, crazy DJs. Like, we've had Laid Back Luke. We've had like all these like OG DJs before, like the
name drop, bro. Name drop.
Like the Steve Angelos, like people now may not know who they are, but they're the ones who basically started the scene. Like, the Steve Angelos and like the Laid Back Lukes, they're like mentioned up there with like the Tiestos and stuff like that. But yeah, so after about 3 months, he was like, all right, man, I'm going to start stepping away. Like, I'm just going to be Saturdays where I'm just not going to show up, or I'll go for a little bit and I'll bounce, and that was it. And I just started fully managing that party specifically at that time.
Hopefully he was paying you more.
Yeah. He started paying me more. I was actually getting paid. The highest I ended up getting paid was $800 a night. But I was allowed to make my own hustles. So, aside from our bar percentages and our door, we were also given a certain amount of comp bottles and drink tickets. I had control over them.
At 16.
Yeah, so whatever promoter, whatever promoter it was, we take care of our promoters, right? Yeah. So they were doing good that night. For every 20 people you bring, we'll give you a free bottle, stuff like that. But we had a lot of bottles, especially champagne bottles. So I would sell them. Very, very cheap.
Expensive.
Cheap compared to what they would be selling at the door. Yeah. So you're talking about, a minimum $500, table at the OK VIP. Yeah. So I'll sell a bottle of champagne for $250, whatever. And I'll have 10 of them.
And that's all yours.
And it's all mine.
Damn.
Yeah, it's all mine. But that's not even where the most money came from for me. The most money came from me. So our party, we would start, open doors with 10:30 at night. Our party ended probably, depending on the night, the latest would probably be in the afternoon, the next following afternoon, like 4 or 5 p.m. But on average, it'd probably be ending like around 11 a.m. to noon. That's on average. So basically,
party all night.
Yeah, all night. But there was a changeover because it's not the full, because it was a three-story building. Yeah. So we had 3 stories of different parties and different whatever. At 4 a.m., 5 a.m., the rest of the downstairs and all that, they all get pushed up to the terrace. So that's the terrace is where what becomes the after hours all night, rest of the morning.
They're still selling alcohol at that time?
Yeah. Miami's got 24-hour liquor license.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah. So
because here it ends at 3.
Yeah, I know. I know. Miami and Vegas are, I think, one of the only 2 cities in the nation that still has and provides.
You ever see Sly Stallone?
Who? What?
Oh, it was the Will Smith Miami. Welcome to Miami.
You caught me off guard.
Bienvenido a Miami. Like, have you saw famous people going in there? Or what?
Oh yeah, bro. I've seen Scott Storch. I've seen tons of people. Yeah,
Actors and shit.
It's Miami, man.
Yeah.
Mostly rappers and like produce. I would say it's mostly on the music side that I've seen.
Yeah.
Fat Joe. DJ Khaled?
Lil Wayne, DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, a lot of Trick Daddy, a lot of the local hip hop artists.
Trick Daddy, huh?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Trick love the kids.
Bro, we used to hire Pitbull. We used to bring Pitbull in for $1,200 a show.
That's it.
To perform 3 or 4 songs at an all age party, bro. And then I tried to book him for an arena concert.
How was he that cheap?
He's from Miami. He's born.
He was just like, "Fuck it, I'm going anyways."
No, he wasn't anyone yet.
Oh, really?
He's popular locally.
Oh,
you feel me?
Yeah,
So, bro, Pitbull like has crashed like my uncle's like house parties before. Yeah. Like it's like before anyone who knew who Pitbull, before he was Mr. 305.
We're talking about like early 2000s, right?
Yeah. This is the 2004, 2005, 2006.
Before he was Mr. Worldwide.
Exactly. Mr. Worldwide now requires $300,000 for a concert. So, but you get your money back because I mean he fills arenas all around the world. So he's Mr. Worldwide for a reason. He put Miami on the map. So, but yeah. So my the biggest hustle in the nightclub and specifically in that party was it came out to and when we closed down and shut everything down by 6 a.m. it was my door. I charged.
And you kept it all.
And I kept it all.
So that was the time. That was the operation times for Nocturnal. And then once that was done,
that was all that Oscar and the rest of his partners cared about.
That's what they
because the rest, everyone else was getting pushed up. They just want the bar money at that point. Bro. So the rest, we're not planning on getting a huge rush for that. You just want people getting in there and drinking.
People still show up though, right? At that time.
Yes, man.
At 6 a.m.
I probably made an additional $4 or $5 at the door.
What?
Easily.
Dude, so you would work. I mean, you'd work more than one day.
I made a good amount of money. I did that for 2 years. And it was all cash.
Where'd all that money go? To your mom's?
So
wait. Before we move on to the story, we'll be right back.
Yes.
We're going to take an initial break right here. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and listen to all the great candid conversations that we have with all our guests. We'll be right back
with Diego Gomez.
Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidays. We got Diego Gomez telling us about the underground Miami promoter of the clubs, man. It's so fucking interesting. So we were going back into the next part of this story after 6 a.m. hits, and now Diego Gomez gets the door. So what happened after that, Diego?
So once the door shuts down, it became my door. So I was then I earned this nickname, I guess. People started calling me Diego the Doorman. And I hated it, but it is what it is. You know,
Diego the Doorman was cash.
Yeah, it was like the older guys that would tease me and whatnot. But I was making cash, so whatever. Call me whatever you want. Just don't call me broke. That's all I cared about. But so at the end of the night, or at least when I was done, so Oscar didn't want me to leave until about 10:30 in the morning, so that way I can get that final bar check. So that's when I clocked out. So between 6 and 10:30, I'm charging at the door. I'm 16 years old.
Not the same price as like from
$20 a pop.
Still
$20 a pop.
And this is back in the early 2000s. Yeah.
This is 2005, 2006. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, this is at this time it's already 2006. Yeah. 2006, yeah, because I went from 2006 to 2008. The recession kicked my ass. Yeah. But yeah, so this is 2006. I'm charging $20 a pop. If you have the goal to come to a party at 7 a.m., bro, you getting charged for it. Get out of here. So one of the coolest things that I really cherished from my time in especially at Nocturnal, specifically at Nocturnal, was the security guards. They knew I wasn't. I told everyone I was 22. That's what I would tell.
Did you kind of look at? Did you have a beard?
No, I had a baby face, and I was big. I was still big, but I wasn't. But I had a baby face though. Like you can tell, I was not.
But could you pass off as it?
Maybe
18 at least, right?
18 at least, right?
I told them all 22. It was 21 and over party. 21
and
over club.
Shit.
You know,
still not drinking.
Still not drinking. Excuse me. Actually, no. By this time, I'm already starting to have my drinks.
Taste that lacquer a little bit.
Yeah, drink and smoke. Actually, I was actually smoking weed already by then. Smoking cigarettes. I was smoking towards the peak of my cigarette smoking. I was probably smoking 2 packs of Newport 100s a day.
Oh
No,
shit!
because I mean, you got a lot of like in between
yeah, but those are the
time.
hundreds, bro.
Yeah,
those are the
big boys.
fucking-
Yeah, the big boys. And I started smoking those because of our actual door guy, Carlos, who's one of the sweetest guys in the world. That's all he smoked, and I was always bumming off of him. And then I just got addicted to them, and I just started buying them, and then I just.
He finally said, "Bro, buy your own fucking pack." I can't, dog.
He was one of those kind of guys. Like he'll give it to you, but he's gonna give you shit every time. But no. So at the end of the night, at the end of the day, end of the morning, whatever. Security guards, they took care of me. They watched, like, these security guards, like our security manager, his name is KC. I haven't seen him forever, man, but I miss that dude. But he had just hopped out, and I don't know if you'll ever hear this, KC, bro. I'm sorry for putting your business out there, but he had just hopped out of prison for like 12 years. And but he was the coolest, dopest, like sweetest guy you would never like. But he was beastly. He's probably like 6'6".
Damn.
Like 300 pounds solid. Like ain't no any flesh, any extra flesh.
Yeah.
It's like running into a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, this guy is beastly, and he ran the security guards, and but he looked after me, and so did other people like Juan.
Why did people give you shit?
Nah, they didn't give me. It was just I'm a kid in this environment.
Yeah,
and they knew that.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been in that environment. Like, God forbid I have children and they ever get exposed to that. What I was exposed to. But they ended up, with after a few months went by, they kind of already knew what was up. I was the boss, so they gave me that respect. But at the same time, they checked me or whatever if I was doing something stupid that was not like street smart.
Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was.
Where's Oscar at this point?
Oscar's reunited with his high school girlfriend and kind of just letting things fly.
But he's still collecting money, right?
Yeah, he's collecting money. Yeah, I walk out. I was probably walking home or walking to my car, which security guards would always walk me to my car. Probably walking to my car with like 30 grand, 40 grand cash.
And you got how much of that?
That's what he made out of the door.
What were you getting out of that?
Out of that, I didn't get anything. But I had my own door. That 6 a.m. to 10:30. That was my own thing.
That didn't like make you think to yourself, "Yo, I could do this."
Yeah. I did.
And then you did.
I ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I threw my very first. I contracted my very first nightclub.
Let's fast forward to that. So how old is Diego when he contracts his first? And was it still nocturnal or was it?
No, man, that was Oscar.
Bro, by this time, the recession hit and we lost all of our contracts.
2008. Yeah.
We lost all of our contracts. All the nightclubs shut down. People stopped going out. People stopped going out.
They ain't got money.
They got no money. They don't. That's the first thing that goes is a nightclub. They can't go out there. They can't buy a $15, whiskey and Coke. You can't do that. So we lost everything.
So he contracted Publix.
Well,
he's like, "Yo, you want to get into this grocery store? $20. Let's go."
Well, it's funny. So like at this point, I'm about to turn 18 and we lose everything, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know any better.
You didn't save no money.
I didn't save no money. So by the grace of God,
blowing it on clothes and jewelry, dog.
Two things three things that I spent my money on.
Shoes.
First and foremost, I paid the bills. I made sure my mom was good. I made sure that all of our bills were paid and we were good.
Good kid.
At that point, it was only by the grace of God, but it's because my mom's been there just since day one. So it's mom.
Yeah.
So I was making sure that we weren't struggling at the crib. After that, I blew it on trips to the Keys,
vacation,
food, because I'm a big boy, so I'm eating good.
That's why that food tastes so good that you got too. Man.
On clothes, like I was buying the stupid stuff like Christian All This Year at like Ed Hardy stuff.
God, I forgot about that shit too.
Yeah, man. I was 17 years old and I had this shirt. I've never done cocaine in my life, by the grace of God, because of where I'm from. I'm Colombian and I was in the nightclub industry, but I've never done it. And I had this shirt that said cocaine in the Coca-Cola font in rhinestones.
And rhinestones.
In rhinestones.
Yeah, the
that
rhinestones,
was like
that's what they-
Affliction almost, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Like the Ed Hardy,
No,
Chris
Ed
Hardy's
Hardy
Year,
was all the
Affliction. Like
rhinestones.
it was all rhinestoned
was
out,
all
like the
rhinestoned,
hats and all
yeah.
that. And it was like probably like a $250 shirt. So,
Looking back at it, you're probably thinking to yourself, why the fuck?
idiot.
I used to get the
mean,
fake ones.
Yeah.
I used to get the fakies.
Right there off a line ball.
Yeah, right.
Bro, it was right behind a fucking
Bro.
bakery. You
I
had
mean,
to park
she
around
would
the
have all
side.
the Christian Algers that looked exact. Nobody could.
It was like 30
When I
bucks.
was making that money,
It
there
was
was no
awesome.
way I was buying anything fake at that time. I was buying things fake when I was growing up in the hood. I'd go to the flea market and get a Gucci set, for $20.
Yeah.
Get a Gucci shirt, a polo, and a Gucci matching Gucci shorts and,
Yeah.
and all that.
So then bills, clothes,
food, and then I would just
jewelry.
trips.
No jewelry, huh?
Nah, I wasn't. I was more like maybe sunglasses, but not really jewelry.
Damn, gold
Nah.
would have been the best thing to buy. at
I
that
would
point.
have,
Yeah.
but I wasn't. Again, I
You
didn't
weren't
have,
thinking.
I wasn't thinking.
It's not the best thing to have
Oscar was there,
anyways.
but not necessarily that. He was there more of like a professional mentor. Not necessarily on mostly on the life side of things, whatever. But anyway, so I thought my life was ruined in 2008. I thought I was done. So
And how old were you at 2008?
18
18.
years old. And
Damn.
and everything started collapsing kind of like with the recession. So I had just bought a BMW. And I had financed
What series?
It was a 3 Series.
3 Series.
But it was also used. Like I didn't buy a brand new one either.
Yeah.
Like I was financing
like
it.
25K.
But I ended up not being able to pay the car insurance.
repo.
Worse. So the car insurance lapsed. I go out with my friends to this local nightclub called La Covacha, the Cove, and we get into this fight. People that I grew up with, we tend to get into a lot of fights when we go out, unfortunately. But anyways, we got into this big fight. We all got thrown out. Both parties of the club got thrown out of the car, out of the club. The party we were fighting get in their car, and they hit a buddy of mine with their car. My other buddy runs to me. I'm the only sober one out of the group. He runs to me, which makes it even stupider. He runs to me. He's like, "Give me your keys. I'm gonna go chase them." And me, like, just out of like not even thinking, looking
Here
at my
you
friend
go.
just got hit. I just throw him the keys. Turns the corner and then like down the block, wraps the car around a tree. No insurance, totaled.
And you still owe on the note.
Yeah, and they repoed it, totaled. So that happened, and I'm like, and then I lose, and we lost all contracts. So now I'm making zero money. I'm scrapping for I had zero to show for all the money I made. I made, probably around over 200 grand in those 2 years.
Damn, that's solid.
as a kid.
That's
100K
cash.
a year. Yeah.
Cash.
Gosh.
I would only put money in the banks when I had to pay bills and stuff like that. That's about it. Everything else, I would always, if you robbed me, you would have came up. I would always carry a lot of cash on me. Not like that anymore, so don't try. And I'm also I'm also a Second Amendment,
Yeah.
So don't try it these days, my boy. Don't try it these days, my boy. But yeah, so I moved to Ecuador.
Oh,
So
shit.
I pivoted hard.
Damn, dog.
I pivoted.
Damn,
You
you,
went to
you saw
South
my face. I was like, what?
I pivoted hard, bro.
That's South America, right?
Yeah, South America. Yeah.
Not Central America.
No,
South
America. Yeah. So
yeah.
you have like you have Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador. Like that's how that whole area there.
What the fuck?
But because I'm
You can
also,
speak Spanish, right?
yeah.
Fluently.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I would
okay.
say not as good as someone that's their first language.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
for
good
sure.
enough to live somewhere that.
Yeah,
speaks Spanish,
for sure, 100%. Yeah.
¿Puede hablar español?
Sí, yo hablo una cantidad de español o sea, con todos mis empleados que tengo and also comes out Colombian too.
It does.
But if I'm in a rush or if I get an attitude or I get angry, it comes out Cuban too. So it depends. It depends on what mood you catch me. But yeah, no. So I moved to Ecuador because I had family there, and my life was falling apart. And my uncle, who was living at the time, he told me like, "Yo, if you come out here, you don't got to worry about nothing, no bills or anything.
No
I'll just
shit.
pay for you to go to school here." There's a university out there that's partnered with a lot of colleges in the States and whatnot. So I'll pay for your college here and whatever. You just
What was it called?
Universidad San Francisco de Quito.
So did your mom go out with you, or when
Nah,
she stayed there?
I left by myself.
Oh, you left by
Yeah, she stayed behind. At that point she actually had a good job.
Oh, shit.
She was doing
Did
well.
she live in Cuba at any point?
No. My mom's actually never
okay.
been to Cuba. My mom lived in Colombia. My mom was born in New York in Manhattan, and then she was there, I believe, for like 9 years until she was 9, and then she moved to Colombia.
Where's the Cuban come from?
Her father, my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because our parents were born in Cuba, and I know for a fact these motherfuckers would never leave the States, bro. They would never leave the States. They're like,
No,
I'm not going
There's no point.
anywhere.
No. Why would I go? Why would I digress?
Exactly.
No, absolutely not. But it was just the whole like you don't have to worry if you come here.
That's nice.
Type thing.
That's
so I was
nice.
like, all right, let me run away.
And
from
you're
my
like
problems.
what? Still 18?
I was 18.
Yeah.
I was 18. I spent my 19th birthday in Ecuador. I started working for my uncle down there. He owns a gold mine in Ecuador.
Seriously?
Yeah, my uncle's good. He's good in business. Very good in business. Yeah, he's always been the one that I've like
Still
kind of
alive?
looked up to. Yeah, still
Shout
alive.
out your uncle, dog.
Yeah. Jamie's the hustler of the hustlers.
Jaime.
Santiago, we call him. But no, he's got a gold mine in. It's funny. We're actually because my family, but he's actually going to war with some cartel people that took over his mining operation.
Like drug cartel?
Yeah. Specifically the Sinaloa cartel.
Oh, shit.
So he's actually, I believe they're partnering with the Ecuadorian military to wipe him out.
Because they tried to take over
They
his
took it
mine.
over.
Oh,
No,
they did?
They took it over and they told all the employees they had to leave and they took it over at gunpoint and they've been holding it hostage for a few months now.
No shit.
Yeah. So he hasn't had.
Oh, this is recent.
Yeah.
Holy
I don't know if you
cow.
guys seen all the craziness that's been happening in Ecuador. Like, if you guys seen
I
anything
haven't,
at
no.
all, there was recently these kids that were part of the gang, whatever. They took over the news station.
MS-13?
News station at the time they were live, like holding people up at gunpoint. Like the cartel's been moving heavy into Ecuador, so
Holy
it's been pretty
cow.
crazy over there.
That's insane.
But yeah, so he's been dealing with gold for a long time. He was actually first in the stock market industry. That's where he first made his money. But then he moved to Ecuador and then got into the gold business. So he invited me out, told me, "Hey, stay here. You can work for me, and you don't have to worry about bills or any of that." So I did that. Started working for him, just doing like admin stuff, whatever. And then he said he was going to open up an office in Miami. So he said if I wanted to go back, I can, and I'll have a job. So all right, cool. I did that.
Still doing admin stuff in
Still
Miami?
just doing basic admin stuff, like whatever he needed.
Were you getting paid much, or was it?
No, nothing. But I was able because I moved into my grandmother's house at the time. So it was just like little some change there, just so I can have something, not have to, freak out or anything like that. But that didn't last very long. I think I did that for maybe.
Yeah, you probably didn't like it.
I not only did I not like it, but also the business. He's been in gold for over 10 years, but now is when he's actually starting to make it happen. So it was just a lot of ebbs and flows in it. So I think eventually he just had to shut it down, shut down what he had.
Did he buy the property and then start mining it, or did he buy the mine?
He sampled it. So he went around to a bunch of different properties, a bunch of different. It's on a mountaintop or a mountain range or whatever. But he samples the land and then buys it if it's what he wants.
Yeah, kind of like Gold Rush. Some of them lease it, and then there's some people that
but he
actually
owns
buy
it.
it. Yeah,
He bought the property.
Yeah, he owns it.
And I'm assuming land in Ecuador is probably not that expensive.
I mean, not as expensive, but if you're buying it from the government and they know why, they may try to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a little. Yeah.
So you're back in Miami.
I'm back in
doing
Miami.
admin stuff.
This doesn't work. It's not
Living with
it's not
your
working
grandma.
out. Living with my grandmother.
Now living with your mom for whatever reason.
Yeah, it was. Everything was close because my mom had. So the living situation I was with my mom was we were living in her mother's house, which was in South Miami, Sweetwater area. Most of the stuff that I had going on, whatever, were a little bit more north, like Miami Lakes, Miami Gardens, Hialeah, and my dad's mother was in Miami Gardens, which was closer to the area that I was at. And I love her. She's phenomenal. So I lived with her. With her and my grandfather. And then so that didn't end up working out. And then I tried my hand at doing my own parties. So Oscar wanted to get back into it. And
was it 2009 now?
Just 2009, yeah. So the first big project that I did with Oscar, and we had a few other people there that helped us out as well. But we did the very first and last, to my knowledge, Spanish alternative rock music concert, or festival rather. So it's at the time they were very underground, but I don't know if you guys ever heard of Cultura Profética. You guys ever heard of them? They're huge, especially in Puerto Rico.
What's Spanish alternate rock?
It's like like Spanish, like reggae, ska, like stuff
Is it
like that.
reggaeton?
No, not reggaeton.
Ska. He says the
Like
stuff
ska,
that you, like what you used to
reggae,
listen
like
to.
that type of stuff.
Well,
in
I didn't know
Spanish.
there were Spanish versions
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. So if you guys listen to Cultura Profética, they're phenomenal. They're one of the greatest bands ever. But they were our headliners. A few other people. You guys are not gonna know. Amigos Invisibles, bunch of other people. But we slammed that concert. We had 5,000 people in attendance. So it was,
You and Oscar.
yeah, it was phenomenal.
So did you guys split it 50-50, the ticket sales? Or?
It was me and him split it 50%, and then the rest split with the rest of the partners. So I made a cool 15 grand off of that.
Oh, shit.
Chilling.
Bro, you're making chunks of change.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, but nothing to show for it. It took me a while to
that's
figure out the
kinda what I was
money
getting at
situation.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it.
Well, they don't really educate us in school about
Bro,
finances.
I come from the trenches in Miami in Hialeah. Like I didn't like no one taught me. My old boy wasn't there to teach me how to manage money. Like I everything that I've learned has been solely by the grace of God, self-taught.
I know.
That's
For everybody else too.
That's
I mean,
actually
unless they have
also
mentors.
unfortunate when you think about
It
it.
is. It is 100%.
Because of the amount of money you made at such a young age.
Oh man.
And to squander it.
I
Instead
look
of
back-
buying real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Something, bro.
Like
an appreciation.
If I would have held
asset.
on to the cash in those 2 years prior to the recession, I could probably be
You could
worth
probably
hundreds of millions right
I
now,
know.
just scooping up the cheapest real
Real
estate
estate, yeah.
in 2012 when it bottomed out.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't
I know.
know
That's-
that.
I mean,
And you know, and the majority of today's billionaires and millionaires were made from that recession.
Yes.
So
yes.
now that I know, I've taken that in mind. So it's a lot different now.
All right, and we'll be right back, man. I'm freaking so intrigued with the story. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. We'll be back to Happy Hour Holidays. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on all the major platforms. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you back here in a second, Holidazers. All right, we're back. Happy Hour Holidazers. We're here, man. Diego Gomez is fucking telling us a story that I'm I'm just enjoying this podcast with him. And
we've only gone from 14 years old to 19
years old. And I'm like fucking sitting
This
here
guy's
like
33,
I don't need
bro.
to say anything. So
Hey, you guys said if you guys are rambling, you're rambling.
Hey, no, keep going.
I know it's
Keep
fucking
going,
awesome,
bro.
All
right, so
Where'd we
Diego-
leave off?
Yeah, so we're doing this last like alternative Spanish with Oscar. You guys did
Yeah.
well on this one.
Yeah, I decided. Yeah, so then
Made
from there,
15K.
yeah, from there, I started to try my hand in the nightclub industry again. So I did. There was this new this old school club called Sweet and Snatch. It was a very very high end
Swingers Club.
No, it was a nightclub on South Beach. It had a downstairs and an upstairs. So it was the Snatch and the bottom, Suite on top. So it was two different clubs, but same owner. They just branded it like that. But they closed down, and a new club I opened up under a new ownership, and I went in for the kill. I went with Oscar, and then looking back, I realized I didn't need Oscar, but I kind of wanted him for the.
Well, he helped you out so much.
Yeah, but looking back, it's like, man, it was not worth it to have him there whatsoever. But yeah, so him and I met with the owners, and they gave us like a trial run because they were about to rebrand again, and we killed it. And excuse me, that's a seltzer right there. And then they rebranded, and they allowed us to present the new rebranding and all that. So it was pretty cool. It was Lux Miami Beach, Lux Miami Beach. Yeah, it was a beautiful club, beautiful club, and that was the very first party that I threw and was like a sole partner of. So it was pretty nuts. It didn't last very long, unfortunately, because the owner was also a scum. Nightclub owners are usually scumbags.
That's what it's kind of sounded like.
Kind of realized that,
That's kinda what it sounded
but
like.
yeah, this is the kind of guy that would try to tell the DJ what to play because he's in a VIP table snorting coke with some models or whatever, and trying to ruin the party type. Yeah, he was a dirtbag. But anyways,
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
we ended up having some big issues to where they actually tried to rob me of my night because I had 100% of the door and I had 20% of the bar, so I also had a good deal. But it was a lot smaller too. It wasn't as big as Nocturnal. Nocturnal was able to hold like 3,000, 3,500 people.
So how many people was Lux?
800.
800?
Oh,
800.
How much were you charging at the door?
$20 minimum.
Damn, so $1,600 right there.
$20 minimum. So.
Or is that 16,000?
16,000.
16,000.
Yeah. But the drinks were more expensive because we're on the beach now.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was
We're on
like,
South Beach.
make it up
So
on
bottle
the
specials, all that. You know, they're way more expensive too. So the margin's a little bit better. But yeah, we had some issues, and I was able to finesse my last night, and take my door and whatnot, and I think that kind of just put a final bad. Actually. Well, yeah, that was kind of like the final straw for the nightclub industry for me. That was like, all right, I'm kind of done with this.
He tried to take the bar, right? He didn't want to give you the bar.
Well, they tried to take over the whole night from me after I had built it up. So they, even though we had a contract, they weren't trying to honor it. So they were trying to literally my last night there. Thankfully, I had my own cashier and my own door person and whatnot. So once I heard that from another promoter that they were going to try to just take over the door and kick me out, literally that's what they were trying to do. They were going to try to just steal the money out of the cashier, out of the register.
Who was coming up with your contracts? Was it a lawyer or was it just something?
I think it was just some bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't hire no lawyer. I'm still a kid,
yeah, bro. Making $16,000 at the door.
I did everything on my own, man. Everything on my own. Matter of fact, to this day, I still do my own contracts, but now I'm a lot more knowledgeable on
rocket lawyer at least, bro.
Rocket lawyer wasn't around then.
No, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, so that ended. But it was just kind of like what broke the camel's back, because I also had another party that I totally forgot about. But this was it was at this place called Heathrow. It was also on South Beach, but this was like a nasty club. So on the beach, it's only 21 and over. You're only allowed to have 21 and over parties on the beach in South Beach, or at least then. I don't know if it's the same now, but I was throwing an 18 and over party. So we had ATF rate us and everything. So it was bad. So that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for the nightclub industry. And then when this issue with the nightclub at Lux happened, it was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm over it.
So now you're transitioning out of promoting.
Yeah, now I'm transitioning out of the promoting, and my uncle at the time was a general manager for a hotel.
So you got an uncle who owns a gold mine, and an uncle who's a general manager at a hotel.
Blood uncles. These are not just some uncle that I know. Yeah, these are blood uncles.
Blood uncles.
Yeah, blood uncles. Yeah. And he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you wanna join our team? I'll put in a word for you, and we'll bring you in as a marketing manager." I was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." It's like, "All right, but you're not my nephew." I was like, "Okay, all right." And me and him, like, we
so the
look
last
very
name
similar.
was different then.
Yeah. His last name is Ray.
That's your mom's brother.
That's my mom's brother. Yeah, my mom's brother. But they brought me in. I told them that I was just out of college and blah 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 whatever. At this time I was 21 already. And they brought me in. So I started, and then they brought me in, but they didn't bring me in as a marketing manager. They wanted to bring me in as a food and beverage director. So they ended up bringing me in for that instead.
That's a lot of fucking work, man. Food and beverage director.
Dude, it was, especially with an owner like, because this wasn't like a Hilton or it was a private hotel. Yeah. And the owner.
What was the hotel called?
It was called Kendall Hotel and Suites. It's not there anymore. They demolished it already. But it was a huge hotel. It had 3 different buildings. It had 2 buildings dedicated just that it was. I think it was.
How many pools?
One massive pool.
One massive.
When it was like one big
all
courtyard.
3 buildings.
Yeah, because it was like the main house where you check in. Then you had one big building and another big building, and then right here was a courtyard with the pool and all that stuff. So that how long did I do that for?
From 21 to 23?
Yes, actually, to 21 to 22.
So
actually, yeah, 21 to 22. Yeah. 21 and 22. And then I got laid off because it wasn't doing well. And the owner had so much debt stacked up on him, and he was just stealing from his own business. So it just wasn't succeeding. So I ended up laying me off. Everyone ended up getting laid off. My uncle as well. But I got laid off, and then I was it was actually this time it was actually a lot of turmoil in my life. So my my grandfather, who I see as my grandfather, is my mother's stepfather, and then but my mother's actual father was also around, just not really in my life or whatnot.
Yeah.
So this was 2011 going to 2012.
Yeah.
My mother's father passes away, and then my grandfather, her stepfather, passes away, and my mom was also, and all within 2 months. My mother was diagnosed with some issue where she needed surgery, but she didn't have any or her health insurance wasn't covering it, wasn't trying to cover it, whatnot. So in that moment, in that season, I have always been the one to, since I was a jit, just taking care of my mom, making sure that everything's taken care of, this and that. So I've always been the man of the house. So with all this like craziness happening, I remember I kind of went into a panic. Like, I need to do something. I need to do something for my mom. I need to make sure she gets the surgery, this and that, whatever. And I remember I got reacquainted with some guy from the nightclub industry from when I was young, in the nocturnal days. He was a guy that kind of looked out for me. When I was not Oscar.
Yeah.
His name at the time, because I only knew him by his nickname, was Yogi.
As in,
he's a big
Mario?
boy, Yogi Bear.
He's a big. He was a big boy.
Right,
I don't know what's up with him now.
Well, that's isn't that Super Mario?
Yogi?
Yeah.
No, Yoshi.
Yoshi.
Oh.
Yeah, no. It's just Yogi Bear, dog.
Yeah,
that was the
Yogi
picnic.
Bear,
Bro. Nah, but he so I got reacquainted with him. He invited me to his house to go to smoke. And I went to his house, and it was really cool to see him again, because when I was 16, 17, 18, he was already in his late 30s, early 40s already.
Oh, is he still alive?
I have no idea. I don't talk to that guy no more, because him and I got beef.
Ooh.
So, nah, we don't got no beef. All is forgiven. But I expressed to him, I was just venting everything that was happening. And I don't know how much you guys know about Miami, but Miami is the number one city in the nation with fraud.
I believe it.
Yeah. Number one city in the nation. That's why the state of Florida has this kind of the tightest insurance laws and fraud laws and stuff like that. It's all mostly because of Miami. So this guy, he tells me, bro, I got this opportunity. And if you want, it'll help you out. So, because in my mind, what I was trying to do, I was trying to organize an electronic music festival, an EDM festival in Gainesville.
Gainesville.
Yeah, in Gainesville.
For UF. Yeah.
For UF. Yeah. So my mind, I already had not in my mind.
That would be big money.
Well, I already had contracts ready for artists and all that. So the only thing that I was missing was these down payments. So kind of the way, at least the way that I did it, I've always done it, was if I'm trying to organize and lock down artists and whatnot, specifically if I'm trying to get sponsors for this festival and whatnot, I would need to put down the down payment on these artists so I can legally say that they are coming to the event, so that I can sell it to the sponsors,
so
to get those sponsors.
Flyers and
exactly. And well, just so I can
market it.
Not even market it yet, but mostly so I can get it, so I can sell it to the sponsors, so I can get those sponsorship packages that were big money. So I needed about $50,000 to put down for the down payments for the artists that I wanted. I already had contracts laid out, and I was ready to go.
Can you name the artists that you wanted?
I was trying to get people like Laid Back Luke, Robbie Rivera. I don't think people are really gonna know who they are now, but back then they were
trying to get Pretty Lights, or
what do you mean?
Pretty Lights?
No, not Pretty Lights. But it was I was also trying to get like people like J. Cole, who weren't very big at the time.
Deadmau5?
No, Deadmau5 was huge at that time. He's probably been like $150,000 at that time. Yeah, he was big money, but it was a well curated lineup for artists that I knew was gonna. No, Odessa. I didn't even know who Odessa was until like 6 months ago.
Oh shit!
I don't even know who they are right now.
I don't even know. Odessa is somebody new. I'm assuming. I never knew who they were back then, or who he was, or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a one DJ, right? One guy.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So.
Anyways, he had a good.
I had a good lineup, whatever. So he
yeah.
told me, like, look, I got this opportunity. If you want, I can get you the money for the money for your festivals. Like, all right, bet. What is it? He told me was he had this buddy that was getting a divorce, a rich guy, and he wanted to stash cash away from his wife. So he said that if he can get all my information, all my social, banking information, all that stuff.
You didn't fucking fall for this, bro.
I'm telling you, man, when you raised without a father, bro, you halfway dumb. Listen. So
Diego.
I had but this is not just some guy. This is a guy that
Let
looked
me
after
get your
me.
birth certificate too, dog.
Well, this is the reason why. This is the reason why he wanted it. Because what they were going to do, what the plan was, that he was going to deposit a bunch of money into my account. I would take my cut, and the rest I would take out and give back to him in cash so he can hide it from his wife. That was the goal. So to me, in my mind, all right, that's messed up. It's unethical, but it's not illegal.
That's how all scams are.
Bro, I wouldn't know. I didn't know any better.
This guy got scammed that way when he sold his rims, bro. Hey, listen, I'm gonna Western Union you $5,000. You keep the rest. And bro, that's exactly what you're describing.
But you gotta understand,
man.
this guy, he was like if a security guard, like with security guards that took care of me, like he was one of those guys that took care of me, and I was legit. He looked after me. Being in the nightclub industry, he told me what not to do, what to do, and he oversaw the VIP. So he always knew like the big rollers and stuff like that.
Always never trust, always verify.
No, don't even listen to this guy. He's not street smart at all. He would fucking fall apart. I mean,
I've never been scammed.
And we can't even listen to the fucking story over here because this guy interrupts more than fucking 50 times a day.
I've never been scammed.
Can we listen to the story?
That's the only time I've been scammed. So it was put it that way.
That was my one time I've been scammed, and that was at 21.
But it took a big hit.
Break.
I took a big hit though, because what ended up happening was, so the reason why they don't want information is because they wanted to be able to see the cash in my accounts.
Yeah.
Right. So they wanted to make sure that I wasn't lying. So I said, oh, it's not there, whatever. So I gave it to him. I gave him my social and my banking login information. I gave him all that. And 2 or 3 months go by. I kind of forgot it. I was like, oh, it's not gonna happen, whatever. And he gives me a call. It's like, hey, we just made a deposit in your account. Go ahead and check it out, and you can start withdrawing whatever. I was all right. I went to the teller, and I probably never had more than maybe like $2,000 in my account at once. I asked for a balance, and it was for 40, and I had 45 grand in my account. I don't know where from one day to the next. Mind you, this is also a student checking account.
Oh wow!
So I had no money coming to this account. All of a sudden, I had 45 grand into this account. So you already know red flags came up on in the banking system. Again, I don't know any better. I'm like, all right, cool. How much money can I withdraw? Because I mean, I'll take it all right now. I was like, oh, you can only take out 10 grand at a time. I was like, okay, give me 10 grand. Give me 10 grand. It's like, all right, I'll go to another branch now. Take out another 10 grand. So I started doing that. He told me that they were going to deposit of like another 50 grand, and then that check would be mine. And then the rest that was deposited after that, I'd have to give back. I was like, cool, let's do it. So I met up with him. I think I was able to take out, before meeting with him, like 25 grand or 30 grand. And then the next day I was planning on going to the other banks and redoing it again. I went to a bank. I gave him, at this point I already gave him like 30 grand or whatever.
Why are you withdrawing it though?
He needed it for that.
Needs to be cash.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I need to be given
50K.
Yeah. The 50K I would have just stayed in my account, but I need to give them back their money in cash.
Yeah.
That was the deal. So so he I gave him like 25 grand, 30 grand, whatever, and the next day my plan was to go to more branches and withdrawals, which was Sunset Bank, which I'm not allowed to have an account with anymore. But I went to a bank. This was in like South Miami, and they told me, "Oh, your account's frozen. It says that you need to go to the original branch you opened your account at." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." My car was broken down. The car that I had at the time was broken down, so I asked him to come pick me up and take me to that branch. He picks me up, takes me to that branch. I started feeling something in my stomach, and
we'll be right back. Don't bust that nut yet. We'll be right back. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back in a second. Welcome back to Happy Hour Holidays. We were just at a really tasty point in the story, and right now Diego was at the bank. The guy had taken him there, and then what happens from this point?
So he I remember we parked in the parking lot of the bank. This was in Doral, Florida, and I remember just having this weird feeling in my gut, in my stomach. But I just pushed out the way. I was like, it's fine. Just do what you got to do. I walked into the bank. I told them who I was. The bank manager or branch manager greeted me and walked me into his office. He started asking me all these crazy questions that you wouldn't think, like looking back, you wouldn't think a banker or would ask their clients stuff, like very personal questions, like, what are you doing with this money? Stuff like that. Just long story short, they ended up he ended up having me on, like, there was like the fraud division was like on speaker, just listening to the whole conversation. And I was just telling them, I need the money because I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to go gamble. Like, just making up my own story. Like, it's none of your business, whatever. And then I remember seeing a cop car pull into the parking lot. And immediately I just got up and I said, like, I gotta go. I can't do this right now. I'll be back. I started walking out towards the front of the bank, and the cop got off his car, started walking towards the door of the bank. I held the door open for him. He walked through. I kept going, and I remember telling him, please don't call me back. Please do not call me back. And then I took a few steps and, hey, come back here. Brought me in, started telling me that the checks that were deposited into my account were fraudulent, that they were forged, and they were from a business out of Atlanta. And started asking me all these questions. And at this point, like, I have no idea what's really happening, because that's not what the story that I was told. And then they asked me about this guy, and at that point, I realized how stupid I was, because I only knew him by his nickname, Yogi, and I felt very, very dumb. But long story short, basically, they caught up to him. We both ended up in court. He somehow, some way, was able to walk away scot-free. I got hit with a 5-year probation sentence with a $25,000 restitution.
Holy shit!
$25,000 and change, which was the money basically that I gave him.
Yeah,
because everything else they were able to recover. And that kind of shook me. And in Miami, was like, all right, Miami's bad for me. So I moved to Tampa. My little brother was already living here, so he told me that that he was.
How old were you when you moved to Tampa then?
22.
22.
Yeah.
Damn,
22.
We're still only to 22. From 14 to 22, bro. This is only 6 years of your life, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's
a lot, crazy.
Man. But then I got to Tampa, man. And in Tampa, I started working as a multi-unit location supervisor for all the USF dining halls on campus. I was for the Aramark Corporation, and that's where I kind of
work for Aramark.
Yeah, I did at the aquarium.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I did. I did the weddings, and then so I started off as
concession,
just, all that stuff. I was just like a regular like banquet server, and then I worked my way up, became banquet captain, and then we started doing all the weddings on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when I was younger in my 20s. So I loved it. It was fun.
Great.
Super dope. Yeah.
Because he'd always bring home like plates of food.
Yeah, there was always so much.
So anytime we had like women over, when we were living together, when we were single, when we weren't married, bro, we'd have the best food.
Yeah, man. I mean, I worked. I managed basically where they sent me where there was an issue in a location that needed to be like rectified. So I would go in there, I would troubleshoot what the issue is, whether it was like employee training or manager issues or some type of systemic issues, whatever. I would weed it out, correct it, and then hone it until they move me on to the next. So that's kind of where I got my big taste of like high volume, because we were feeding like 5,000 kids a day. You're USF, you're a dining hall. So, and then our dining hall, the one that was open the latest, was open until 2 a.m. So we had kids just coming in nonstop. So that location alone fed like 3,500.
Were they eating for free?
No, not at all. They're on meal plans. No, they're made.
Come on, man. I gotta ask.
They're paying like.
Was this like a cruise?
No. They put the students. They can buy per meal, or they can be put on a meal plan, or they can do prepaid meals. It just depends. It varies. But I think the cheapest it got was like $8 a meal. And then I think if you paid per entrance, it was like $15 or something like that.
That's actually
but it's all you can eat.
Bad. That's
It's all you can eat. You know? So, but they're buying 200, 300 meals, you know, for the year, whatever the case is. Excuse me. Some of them were on unlimited meals, unlimited swipes, whatever the case is. But so that's kind of where I got my taste of like corporate, like true corporate, the true corporate world, and like high volume food production and whatnot. So I got a lot of training there. I got like knife training. I got culinary training. I got sent out and did like little education and conferences and stuff like that. It was really cool. I was up for a promotion, for an actual promotion that I had wanted, and then they rolled out this like program to partner with the school to just kind of place graduates in certain positions, and they just plopped somebody right into the position that I was literally on. I had one more interview, and then out of nowhere they said that corporate rolled out this thing.
Damn, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, so I left. Yeah. That did that. But yeah, I tried my way. I went to I had a few jobs until I got to where I'm at. I was an AGM for Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Mall.
Assistant General Manager?
Yeah. I was a logistics coordinator for Florida Dairy Products, which is the second, I don't know if they're still around, but they were a huge just dairy company. Just a few things that really kind of helped me hone in on like how to run a business, what like logistics, accounting, all that. And then I was also managing I don't know if you guys are familiar with Foundation Coffee. Right. Foundation Coffee is a pretty popular brand. Yeah, so I was managing their brand for a good while when we had when they had the location on Franklin in Tampa Heights. And then after that, that's when I finally, after that job I had at Foundation, it kind of pushed me to like, all right, I need to start working for myself. So that's kind of where I started a digital marketing firm called Hilltop Creative Group.
Is it still around?
No. It's been dissolved for quite some time now. But that I didn't know. I've known marketing. Marketing is something I've always been familiar with. I know how to market
because promoting is marketing.
Correct. Yeah. So I've understood what this target audience wants and how do I communicate that to them, to draw them into my product or service, whatever it is. But I didn't really know. I wasn't really big into design. I wasn't really big into like coding or like web development or anything like that. So, but I taught that all to myself. So I wanted to offer, and I taught myself photography and videography. I spent a ton of money on equipment. I had DJI drones. I had the time it was the newest one, the Sony Alpha.
Alpha 7.
Alpha 7 II, I think is the one that had, Alpha, that one. All that stuff, just because I wanted to be able to offer my clients everything. I wanted to be the one-stop shop. It's like you need a logo, you need a website, you need content, whatever it is you need, I'm offering it to you. So I did that. I did that for 2 years. I did that for 2 years. I was surviving for 2 years. I had some steady clients and whatnot, but it was definitely. And looking back, I kind of realized it wasn't necessarily something that I was super passionate about. Yeah. So it was kind of like it was something that I knew what to do. I taught myself how to do, and it can bring me a lot of good money, but I'm not fully into it. But I survived for 2 years. I then got introduced to this gentleman who was looking for a marketing director. He's the owner of a real estate company, and they are a Century 21 branch.
It's like Beggins,
something like Beggins, yeah. He brought me on. He offered me the job as a marketing director for the office, and I was like, all right, I'm let's do it. I'm done with Hilltop. Jumped on with him, and he kind of showed me the ropes of. He was specifically in like commercial real estate, but he exposed me to that. And on the large end of things, he had like one of his clients is Physician Partners of America. They're huge conglomerate medical clinic company. The owner of this company, he just buys ambulatory centers and land. He's buying like $5-10 million worth of land at a time, properties at a time, big money. And that's what I was exposed to in the commercial real estate, exposed to how much money you can make in real estate. So from there, I started to slowly transition out of being a marketing director for him. He actually paid for me to get my licensing and whatnot. He wanted to hold me in-house as an employee, but it wasn't matching up with like the money that I could make as a licensed realtor. So I was like, I'm sorry, man. That doesn't make sense for me. Yeah. I want to continue to progress. So I separated myself and I just jumped into real estate. I just said, screw it. I'm back into it on my own. And I jumped in, and this was right at the lockdown.
2020.
Yeah, the moment things started shutting down.
2020.
Yeah.
March 2020.
Yeah, actually, because I had a little interim job in between. So I left the real estate company as a marketing director. I had gotten offered this really cool job as a hotel consultant or auditor. And they were flying me out to these 5-star hotels to experience them and audit them. I would get free drinks, free food, free stay, free flights, and all. Everything gets reimbursed, and they paid me a salary.
That sounds more than a job. That sounds awesome.
Hey, bro, let me tell you something. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Why the fuck did you leave that?
They were poorly ran. They were poorly ran. And I'm grateful I did, because when everything shut down, they made everyone get their own ride home.
What was the hotel chain?
It was multiple. It was all different types. I would go to a boutique. I went to like the boutique hotel in Dunedin. They just recently rebranded. It's a beautiful hotel. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those like Hilton or Marriott signatures.
So you go to like an A-loft almost.
I've been to A-lofts. I went to the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Yeah. I went to.
Well, that one's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
The one with the golf course, right?
Yeah, and they don't just I don't just get like a regular room. They put you in like the suite. They don't give you the penthouse, but they give you a suite. Like,
they know why you're there, though, right?
The people that had the upper management does.
Oh,
the people do not.
Yeah. The hotel doesn't know.
I'm logging in some, and depending on which state that I was in, I could record like my initial like interaction with like the reception or whatever the case is. Some states don't allow it, so you can only just record audio. But they want you to go in that depth. So I was auditing a lot of these hotels. I audited the golf resort here. What's the big one?
Stream Song.
I audited them. Some lady got fired because she stole money from me. She stole $10. You bait, and that's the other thing. They want you to bait them. I baited her, and she took my $10, bro.
How'd you bait her?
I just left it out.
You mean you put $10 on the table?
I just put $10 on the table, crumpled up next to like receipts, like it was just change.
In your room? In my room.
Took a picture. I have to record the whole process of it.
And they took it?
And she took it, yeah.
It's never trust fucking house cleaners, bro. Yeah. Or not house.
Yeah, housekeepers.
Yeah,
it was a housekeeper.
Housekeepers.
Don't trust nobody. Period.
Yeah.
I'm a prime example of that. But yeah, so I had that job, and then I really wanted to jump in full-time real estate. They were a poorly ran business, and I was ready to do stuff on my own. And literally, I quit February of 2020. So it was literally right. The shutdown was in March.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh great, everything's shutting down. But to be honest, it ended up being better for me. Like for me, real estate was
real estate market was fucking
crazy,
booming.
Man. Crazy, especially since what I was doing what most realtors don't do, and I cold call.
Yeah.
I call people.
None of them do that.
I just FISBOs. Yeah, just for sale by owners. I just give them a call, and that's how I made my sales.
When did you open up Sandritas?
Then? I opened up Sandritas.
And who is Sandrita?
So Sandrita is my mother.
That's her name?
Her name is Sandra.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a term of endearment. Yeah, it's just like, for me, like, my name's Diego, and then my mom will call me Dieguito or something like that, Sandrita, like my grandmother calls her Sandrita. One of my close friends, Liz, calls her Sandrita.
So is it her food?
Is it her food?
Yeah. Did she make up those sandwiches? We're coming on 4 or 5 minutes, so that's the only reason I'm trying to get.
I figured as much. No, she's so yes and no. I mean, we came up with a lot of that together,
like the recipes,
and whatnot. But a lot of the stuff is kind of how I was raised eating, like the arepas. her mom made them for her and for me as well. That's how I was.
And the arepas are more Colombian, right?
Arepas are Colombian, yes, from our Colombian side. And then, so those are and they're handmade. My mother makes them handmade.
Who came up with the medianoche with the cream cheese and the?
So that's a popular sandwich from a Cuban socialite. It was invented in Havana, in Cuba, in the 1920s. Her name was Yelena Ruth, R-U-Z. She would always order this sandwich off menu at this restaurant in Havana, and the chefs got tired of it, so they just slapped it on the menu. So once they slapped it on the menu, it went like wildfire, it spread, and it got super popular. And then after Fidel took over and everyone fled, or most people fled Cuba,
or lost them.
She came to Miami and brought the sandwich with her. And it's that right now, from what I've seen, you could only get that sandwich at my shop or in Miami.
I've never seen it before.
I do know someone that does like a rendition of it. But ours is like the traditional version of it.
So we're like 100% Cuban, bro. I've never seen that sandwich.
Well, I would say 100%. I mean, we were born here, but both of our parents are.
Both of our parents are.
Y'all are as much Cuban as I am Cuban. Like
no,
I'm not.
Our parents are both from Cuba, different sides of the island.
Oh, if any, you're more Cuban than that point.
So we got 3 minutes here. Do you want to leave our audience with final words, motivation, or just plug your businesses or whatever you want to do?
I would say, and I'm not speaking because I don't believe I'm speaking from a point of like success. I think I'm still on that on ramp, projecting.
So humble.
I mean, no, and honestly, and anything that I do have, and anything that I have going for me, everything that I should have gotten but didn't receive that would have hurt me, and everything that I have received that I don't deserve has come solely from the grace of God. So I would say that all the hardships that I've gone through, with all the stuff that if you guys heard, the first 6 years of my life was chaotic. Mm-hmm. I missed a lot of heartache. For some reason I didn't get into drugs. I didn't, I wasn't into gangs or any of that. I was protected way more than I should have been, especially in the industry that I was in. But I put all that in my faith in Jesus. That's it. At the end of the day, everything that I'm doing right now is all for Him and for my family. And I would say that anyone that is looking to, because here's the beautiful thing about having faith in Christ. When you have faith in Christ, you've been going through the darkest times of your life. However, He provides a deeper joy that's deeper than any type of grief, pain, or suffering that you can go through. It's the type of joy where you can still know that there's a hope outside of what you're going through. There's a better tomorrow, no matter what. And that's what has kept me going, what has saved me, and what is keeping me going now. So I would say that would be number one. Number two, keep your family, take care of your family. Absolutely. First thing, for sure.
No, that was as well said as possible, Diego. Man, we really, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed your story, man. It was fantastic. And I know we had to cut it a little bit short because of time.
There's a whole much more to it.
Yeah, there's more. And we definitely have to have you back on to kind of get through a little bit more on the nitty gritty. But man, we really appreciate you coming on Happy Hour Holidays.
Thank you.
You guys visit Sandrita's, man. The sandwiches there, I mean, for me, the best in the whole Tampa Bay area, maybe in the state. I mean, it was
Cuban in the nation.
Yeah.
We're planting our flag right now.
Yeah,
1412 West Waters Avenue.
Bro, it was absolutely delicious, man. We really appreciate it. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. This episode is going to be on here shortly, and we're excited for you to hear it. Thank you so much, and peace out.